Okay, we are live. Hello, honeybee. How are you? It is Friday night. It's about 11:39, uh, the 11th of August, and it's absolutely freezing out. So, um, let me do this first, since we'll be covering some true crime tonight. Gonna go over. Bye, honeybee. We're gonna go over the wildfires over there in Hawaii. I'm going to try to present some more information on Gilgo, sideline information, kind of, and stories of the week. So let's begin. I will be right back, I think. Okay, so right away, hope everybody had a good week. It's the weekend. It's absolutely freezing out here. For those who like dry, warm days and dry, cold nights, this is the weather for you. But I want a refund this summer because it's been absolutely freaking awful. We need some heat. We need some heat fast because we got about, I don't know, 2 weeks, 3 weeks left maybe. So, all right. So first case I'm going to go over is this because it didn't get a lot of attention. But the good news is that everything seems to have worked out. For the best. This is another bizarre case down in Haiti. Actually, let's. Okay, so let's. This is 13 days ago, so I don't want that one. All right, we'll do this one. It's 1 minute and 33 seconds. I didn't want to play anything too long, so. All right. Go back to StreamYard, bring this up. So apparently, a couple weeks ago, this woman went missing from New Hampshire and her daughter in Haiti, and apparently she was kidnapped. And happy ending because she got released. So let's watch this.
In a blog post that Alex Dorsonville and her daughter were safely released almost 2 weeks after they say they were kidnapped, saying there's still a lot to process and heal from in this situation. Originally from Middleton, Dorsonville had been living in Haiti for some time. She had been serving as a nurse for the humanitarian organization El Roy Haiti, which her husband is the director of. The U.S. State Department confirmed Dorsonville and her daughter had been kidnapped last month, and President Biden had also been briefed on the situation. Elroy had been posting updates on its website, writing this morning in part, quote, "It is with a heart of immense joy that we at Elroy Haiti confirm the safe release of our staff member and friend." Immense joy that we at Elroy Haiti on its website, writing this morning.
I know exactly where this church is. So just letting you know.
The safe release of our staff member and friend, Alex Dorsonville, and her child, who were held hostage in Port-au-Prince, Haiti. There's still much to process and to heal from in this situation, so we're asking that no attempts be made to contact Alex or her family at this time. And again, thanks for all the prayers and support through this incredibly difficult time. And in a statement, the State Department says in part, quote, "We have no greater priority than the safety and security of U.S. citizens overseas. Out of respect for their privacy, we'll allow individuals to speak for themselves if and when they feel ready. As you can imagine, these individuals have been through a very difficult ordeal, both physically and mentally. We express our deepest appreciation to our Haitian and U.S. interagency partners for their assistance in facilitating their release." Reporting live, I'm Hannah Cotter, WMUR News 9.
Oops.
On my watch.
Okay, so that was a good story in the end. Doesn't always end up that way, but it did. Still sounds kind of bizarre to me that people get kidnapped like that, but anything can happen, I guess, especially when you're in a foreign country. So it's a little bizarre. Programming note tonight, later on tonight, early morning, I'll be doing Flora 2. So that and going over some of the mistakes that I made last week. So, all right. So now we're going to go to fires, and this is just an awful thing. So. These things you just cannot prepare for. So this is a video of the aerial footage of the Lahaina wildfire disaster. This is just absolutely horrible. This entire town is literally gone. It sucks. It's always kind of weird though, where you see all of this devastation, but yet, let me go back here a little bit. You see this one house that doesn't seem to have any damage at all whatsoever to it. Like right there, you see all of this damage around this one house, and there's nothing really going on here. Hey, it doesn't seem like this looks like a hotel or something. Of course, we're not seeing the back side of this yet, so, but doesn't look like there's any damage here, that's for sure. mean, I think these are some of the bravest people in the world that fight these fires, these wind-blown fires. They're just deadly. I mean, if I wouldn't know any better, it looked like this was more like a hurricane type thing, but this is all fire damage here. Fire and smoke damage. I mean, this entire town is gone, literally. Let's just take a look at what it looked like before. I mean, this is not a very big place, right? Here we are in the Pacific. This is right here. This entire town is gone. 12,702 resident population, Lahaina. So that's a lot of people. And these are some of the images before. All gone, literally, trees and everything. All of these houses are gone. That's just horrible. Let's look at this beautiful beach. Mountains behind it. I mean, this is a great place. Now it's just been leveled, literally. I'll try to figure out what happened weather-wise. That didn't help. I mean, look at these trees just completely gutted. And like I said, some of this stuff here didn't look like it got touched at all. Maybe it's because of the firefighters.
We do begin with the terrible reality sinking in after wildfires raced across Maui, the death toll rising and likely to go higher. The urgent search for the missing and the painful questions about the state's disaster warning system, the stunning aftermath, historic buildings turned to ashy rubble, the once vibrant landscape now devoid of color. Along the waterfront, cars abandoned and burned. New images tonight of homes on fire, the fierce wind that fueled them whipping the flames. Families are now being allowed to return home, even as firefighters are still tamping down the burning embers. But some are coming back to very little and struggling to find a place to go. But in the midst of this...
So let's find out what's going on over there. I haven't even done this, so I've been doing some other shit, you know. Oops. That's wrong. Just trying to pull up some maps here. Yeah, so all we have right now is just low-level clouds. That's it. But I just did that one. This is the radar here. It's nothing. Absolutely nothing. But things may be changing for them pretty quickly within the next few days or so. This is the radar imagery here, and you can see absolutely nothing. Water or anything. A little bit over here. But this is the intertropical conversion zone here, and it looks like this here is gonna miss them, which sucks because they could probably use some of this moisture. This one here, though, well, let's take a look, shall we? Okay. I mean, the Atlantic is quiet, but the Pacific is always a little bit more active than the Atlantic, anyways. So we got this system right here that's forecast to probably turn into at least a tropical storm or a hurricane over the next 24 hours or so. So this is the one that's scheduled to kind of take more of a northerly path here. No, this one here. This one here is going to skirt a little south of Hawaii, but if this one can stay on its course here, that might bring some much needed rain. All this dry air here. So this is the one here. So we'll keep an eye on it. But other than that, there's absolutely nothing going on as far as weather that they could use. rain. But you can see a lot of this dry air in here is probably not massive low pressure system up here causing that. This will move east, I think, to bring California some water. But look at all this dry air in here. Wow. That's been amazing. And down here too. All right, let's go back to
Staggering loss. There are stories of generosity and grace. The people of Maui tell us they are finding strength in community. ABC's Whit Johnson leads us off tonight from Maui.
whoops.
Across.
Wow, that went up. It is 67 now. That is awful. That's terrible.
Maui tonight, the catastrophic toll of this historic disaster.
This was done, I think, an hour ago, so this is probably the most up-to-date. Well, this is a historic community, too, so it'll take a while to rebuild this, that's for sure.
Disaster coming into focus.
Oh my God, it's on fire.
The massive fires claiming the lives of at least 67 people.
I do not know what the final number is going to be. And it's going to be horrible and tragic when we get that number.
And with no power, no internet, and no way to communicate in some places, authorities are still desperately trying to locate as many as 1,000 people. The shelters here overcrowded. Hawaii's governor saying some residents will be able to.
You know, this is a very, very small chain of islands out in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, right? And, I mean, literally surrounded by billions and billions of gallons of water. And none of it is useful when it comes to fires like this. So weird.
Return today to see their homes for the first time while asking others to open theirs.
If you have additional space in your home, if you have the capacity to take someone in from West Maui, please do.
I got about within 2 blocks of my house and everything was engulfed with flames.
You saw the fire.
Saw the fire.
Kessa Stoddard and her family lost their home in the fire, leaving everything behind.
I mean, what do you do, right? I mean, it's just terrible.
In just 10 minutes.
Did you receive any kind of warning
There
that
was
the fire was coming into the town?
No warning. We are supposed to get, on your cell phone evacuation notices, alerts. We got nothing. Nothing. Not one alert to evacuate.
So your only signal to get out was the explosion and the flames?
Yes.
I mean, what kind of a warning do you want? I mean, this doesn't happen all the time. I mean, I'm assuming this happened so fast that there wasn't really much of a time for a warning. I mean, it's just, I know it's difficult to say, but I mean, I don't think they can do that.
And the smoke and people leaving town.
Tonight, mounting questions from some members of the community over whether officials sounded the alarm fast enough or whether power outages prevented alerts from reaching people.
Was there a widespread alert?
No, there wasn't. It seemed sporadic. I'm going to have to say that the government could have done a little bit better. The local government could have done a little bit better.
Hawaii officials telling the Associated Press there are no emergency management records indicating Maui's warning sirens were activated Tuesday when the fires began. The fire chief asked about those alerts.
Our department is not responsible for that. The fire that day moved so quickly that from where it started in the brush to where it moved into the neighborhood, communications back to those who make those notifications are physically and nearly impossible.
In Lahaina, the ones.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, by the time you get out there and give the warnings, it may actually even be too late at that point. But I'm sure they could have done something. I'm sure, once they rebuild, they'll have a better system in place. But, I'm pretty sure it's really hard to outrun a fire.
Capital of Hawaii, which holds deep cultural and historical significance, the raging fires taking nearly everything. And we see it firsthand as we approach the harbor by boat.
This is the historic Lahaina Town Harbor. I've been here.
Look at that water. Isn't that amazing? I got to go to Hawaii. That's what I got to do.
Number of times over the years. This is my first time seeing it after the
Maybe not now, maybe not to Maui, but
fires. It's unrecognizable, and it's difficult to get your bearings because
I mean, like, it's not like you can run up here, right? You're basically surrounded by mountains and water. So if there's a raging, blowing fire, you're pretty much freaking screwed.
there aren't many buildings left standing. People tell us that it all happened so fast. The flaming embers started raining down from the sky, igniting buildings all around them. And many had just seconds to flee, some even jumping into the harbor, into the ocean to escape the flames.
This is almost like the historic stories you hear of Pompeii, right? With the volcano, whole entire villages got annihilated. It's very similar. Like, this is a fire. Raging fire, and this entire town is goner.
Overnight, we spoke to emergency doctor Reza Dinesh, telling us he rushed into Lahaina with his mobile clinic and immediately began treating patients.
And all of a sudden, I started getting some text messages from paramedics and firefighters that I know that went in and out. And like, Doc, there's bodies on the ground.
Kessa Stoddard learned several of her close friends lost their lives in the fires, telling us tonight this community is strong.
Oh, that freaking sucks. Oh, people you go to, school with, people you have dinner with, people people at the grocery store and shit. That's horrible. It looks beautiful there right now, right? Except for the fire. I mean, these are people's dreams vacation here.
But still in desperate need.
Right now, it's not about me right now. It's about the community and the people of Lahaina. And I'm just one of thousands of people with this story. One of thousands. And
there's about 12,000 people there. So, and that's just residents. So I don't know how many tourists were there at the time, but that's a lot of people. And it's like I said, there's nowhere you can go unless you can swim.
We need help.
The need is clear, and so too is the strength and spirit of the community there. We're just incredible what that family had to endure. Now that authorities are allowing residents to return to their homes, what are you hearing from some of those families?
Lindsay,
What homes? There are no homes. They're returning to like ash and debris. There's no such thing as a home.
Communicating with a few families who do plan to go back today to that Lahaina neighborhood if they can get through. The governor said if they present ID at the checkpoint, they will be allowed to see what's left of their homes. And in fact, we did see a long line of cars of people already trying to get in. But it's not just Lahaina. We're here in the Kula neighborhood, and you can see behind me, this is just one of several homes burned to the ground. We can hear the water dropping helicopters overhead, giving you a sense of the widespread devastation across the island. Lindsay.
Maui just unrecognizable, as you say. Whit, thank you.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for.
All right, so let's go to this one.
As we've been reporting, that those fires on Maui are not 100% contained. High winds, dry air, it's all making the fire for firefighters battle especially tough. Bobby Lee knows exactly what they are up against right now. He's president of the...
All right, that's a fire, right? Like, this is, and you can see the wind blowing these fires. So you get embers on you, you're a dead duck.
Hawaii Firefighters Association. He's in Honolulu right now, coordinating all the efforts with teams on the ground. Bobby, so glad you could join us. Let's just talk about your firefighting teams right now. They are working tirelessly to put out the flames, aid and search and rescue. But, they're also a part of this community dealing with enormous loss themselves. Just to start off, how are you and your firefighters just doing personally right now? I know you've even had firefighters injured.
Yes, thank you, Kira. I appreciate the time. Our Maui firefighters in particular were really pushed to the limit with this particular fire. When you look at this, the level of winds they had to deal with, 60, 80 mile an hour winds plus, it just really was a tough deal to try and work under. And at the same time, you are correct. They are part of the community. Their houses are in these communities. You have firefighters out there working, fighting fires, knowing that when they get off duty, their house may not be there. And their house was in jeopardy. And yet they can't even be there to protect their own property. So that's kind of the environment that they're working under, and we give them a whole lot of credit. I mean, they're really pushed to the limit.
Any idea, as your firefighters are being pushed to the limit, when any of these fires will be contained?
Everything that I've heard so far, they said it's still a few days away before it'll be totally contained. It's much more manageable now, because the winds have slowed down. It's not as bad as it was, but there's still a lot of work to be done. We kind of get firefighters in there at a moment's notice, like, that you can in the mainland. We don't have firefighters rolling in from other counties, other states. So it takes a day or two to just get other firefighters there. We have Honolulu firefighters there now.
So I do want to go here. So this is Hawaii here, and these are the drought intensities here. The clear would be none, or the white. I don't even know. So it's right here. So this is they got some problems, right? Why won't that let me do that? Keeps doing it. All right. So I mean, this is obviously this is severe drought. So I mean, that's pretty sure that's not helping. The yellow is abnormally dry, and then they're kind of in severe drought here at the western third of Maui. So they need some water for sure. So, yeah, they're definitely in a drought for sure. I don't know if that's normal for them down there or not.
That came in just yesterday, and I believe there's some Big Island firefighters and some State Crash Airport firefighters that are also there, trying to help and give some relief to our Maui firefighters.
So
if I was younger, I would go for sure. I would go try to help out.
Put it into perspective about how overwhelmed they are. So with that said, and you even saying you could be days away from containment, have your firefighters had to get creative in the way that they fight these fires? Because it's unprecedented. They were fast moving. It was so unexpected. It took down so many structures and unfortunately took many lives so quickly. So how did you see your firefighters maneuver in ways that, really were just taking a chance here, hoping that it was going to work?
Yeah, I would really love to say that they got creative and did a lot of out of the ordinary spectacular things. But yes, when you
so there's about 56,000 people in Hawaii that are currently in a drought situation.
Dealing with this kind of fire, you do get as creative as you can. But the biggest issue is that you have a defined and finite source of resources, and that's all you got. And so once you get to the end of those resources, then really there's not a lot you can do, and you have to start making those hard decisions on what do you have an opportunity to put out and what you don't. So, and that's really the deal over here. You know, we fight really hard for firefighter staffing to keep our trucks staffed, you know, because that's firefighter safety, public safety. But that for us, that's really the key, because, you know, we are all we got. We don't have help coming in really quick to help us.
Well, you got to let us know how we can get the word out on how we can help. Clearly, we've got a platform here with a loud voice. So, Bobby Lee, you stay in touch with us, and we are thinking about the firefighters, and we'll continue to cover all the efforts. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News.
Now to our continuing coverage of those massive wildfires that have resulted in the death of at least 55 people now. Maui police.
So we'll stay here for a little while, and then we'll
saying
move
up
on
to
something else.
1,000 people are still unaccounted for. And that's what brings us to a family who lost just about everything to the fires in Hawaii. Stephanie Evans and her 2 boys, one with asthma, followed evacuation orders, hoping the fires would be contained. But that was not the case. Stephanie joins us now. She was able to seek shelter in Haiku, joins us by phone. Stephanie, I'm so glad to know that you and your boys are safe, but please tell us what your journey was like to get where you are now.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the well wishes and everyone just coming together for our family and for everyone who's lost homes here. I don't even know where to start. I'm just thankful that we're out of there. It happened so quick. They said that the fire was 100% contained in the morning, so we weren't even on high alert that we would ever even get evacuated. And then all of a sudden it happened so quick that the smoke got so bad. I didn't even have time to think. I just grabbed my babies, my kids, and I left with my purse and a tank top and shorts on. And I just grabbed the kids and put them in the car. And we left, and we thought we'd be back in a few hours. You know, we thought they're going to contain it again.
So I want to do some reading on this here.
Tim Scott's a conservative. Strong conservative.
All right. A state that is surrounded by water is now the scene of one of the deadliest blazes in U.S. history, with few officials still in search and rescue mode for survivors. So that's good. They're still in search and rescue. The last report from local authorities, at least 4 dozen people killed. I don't know why they say dozen. It's just rounded up. And hundreds of homes and businesses destroyed. A combination of dry brush, terrain, and windy conditions were present in both California and the most recent disaster in Hawaii. So wildfires are hardly a rarity across the country's 50th state. The Hawaii Wildfire Management Organization reports around 20,000 acres burned each year, with 98% being human caused. So it's not natural. But the combination of hurricane enhancing the pressure gradient leading to strong winds and raging fires is a rare event. See, that's what I just said. A lot of residents in the state of Hawaii when we are preparing for a hurricane, we expect rain, sometimes we expect floods, but we never anticipated in this state that a hurricane which did not make impact on our islands will cause these types of wildfires. So apparently a hurricane passed right below them that wiped out communities, wildfires that wiped out businesses, wildfires that destroyed homes. So it is rare, obviously, Nearly all of these deadly blazes were human-induced and have forced changes in both wildfire preventing and firefighting response. Only you can prevent forest fires. So this is some of the deadliest fires in the country since for 100 years. California, the Camp Fire, 2018. I remember that one. 20.2 billion in Maui brush fires. This is getting close. They don't even have a number on it yet as far as monies. And these are some of the older ones here. 32 in 2020. Most of them are in California that are, up there as far as issues. So according to a congressional report, 89% of wildfires between 2018 and 2022 were human caused, but those triggered by lightning tend to burn more acres. So that's interesting. Wind excess gusts of 60 miles per hour. So figure that out, right? You got, you got a fire burning, and then you have winds exceeding 60 miles per hour. That's going to come on you quick. It's really hard to get out of there. So Hawaii Electric, the local utility provider, has not addressed questions on whether a utility line contributed to any of these fires, but did direct Fox Weather to a statement. Okay. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they'll figure it out at some point. But either way, it sucks. It's not good.
We're going to come home.
Oh, Stephanie. And so when did you find out that everything, that you lost everything? How did you get the word?
Well, we drove to Laniapoka, which is like a little neighborhood of Lahaina right next door, and we watched it. We just watched it burn. You could see it from the hillside, and I knew once the smoke started rolling down to the town, those gusts of wind were up to 65 miles per hour. I knew it was going to go down. So I knew then that it was bad. I didn't know to what extent. It wasn't until about 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night that we got word from our neighbor who's a firefighter. And he said, it's all gone. All of our homes are gone.
Oh, Stephanie, and I'm looking at pictures of your 2 boys and even your cat. I know you had to leave your cat behind. How have you been talking with your boys? I'd love to know what kind of questions have they been asking, and how are you, basically trying to just quell all the fear?
It's crazy because my 9-year-old is more strong than I am. And so he's actually been my little rock because he keeps telling me, Mom, we've got each other. That's all that matters. And he's so thankful.
That's the thing with kids. Like when we were younger, we had a house fire in Londonderry. And basically we were out of the house for, I think, about a month or so while they worked on the house. And we were living in royalty because back in those days, the insurance was a lot better than it is today. I mean, the adjuster came by and when we were kids, it was heaven for us, but obviously my parents didn't think so, but kids see things differently sometimes.
For just getting a little toy from the thrift store and not complaining. My little one he's been a little bit more like, Mommy, I want to go home. And it breaks my heart, but I just keep telling him home is where we are. it's when we're together. So it's hard, to be honest. I haven't been as strong as I would like to be.
Well, you are being strong, Stephanie. You got your
Yeah, you're definitely stronger than you think.
kids to a safe place. You knew you needed to get out of there quickly. You have a 9-year-old who's lifting you up. I mean, you are clearly counting the blessings, that is for sure. And
If it wasn't for my sister in that fire, my brother would have been dead. It's not funny. It's funny now, but he was oblivious to anything going on. I wasn't even there. I was across the street.
I know that you had mentioned you also noticed the school, also the boys' school got burned down. So what does this mean for what's next? They're about to start school. They're supposed to in a few weeks. So how are you thinking about that and processing that right now?
Well, their school means everything to us. It's our community, Sacred Heart. It's a Catholic community, and the unbelievable thing is the entire school burned, but the church is still there. And so we just believe that that's God, and that's a sign that we will rebuild, but it's going to take a long time. It's going to be years before we can get Lahaina back to. So it's a feeling. It's so hard because it's like I know we're going to have to move to this side of the island. I know we're going to have to start over at a new home, a new school, and it's just very tough to swallow.
Isn't haiku a poem?
Well, the best part is the Sacred Heart community is all over.
Or a kind of poem, right? I'll have to Google this. Hold on. Haiku. Yeah, haiku is a poem format. Okay.
And that is just incredible that the church is still standing. I'm not surprised, right? And I think that is a signal of sunshine and hope. I mean, that's pretty incredible. And your mom too.
Here we go with the God thing.
I know she lost her home. She was in a very historical neighborhood. How's mom?
She's taking it. We all tried to we know how bad it is.
See, that's the front. I just saw the front of that hotel. So the hotel did get some damage to it on the other side of it. On the other side of this hotel doesn't seem like there's much going on.
We all tried to
Of course, they probably have a sprinkler system in here.
We know how bad it is. They're not. Unfortunately, the news isn't saying how bad it is. The body count is a lot higher than that. It's in the hundreds, if not. It's very high. We know this from personal.
Oh, that's awful. I don't even want to hear that. Oh. I'd rather literally get run over by a bus than to die in a fire. I mean, honestly, I'd rather that.
People who are on the ground and they know this. And so I have friends in the hospital and they're telling me of the children with the burns and the burn unit.
I mean, if there's a fire, this little white ass is running really fast because that's not happening.
And I'm just, she's just thankful that I made the call to take the kids right then, because some people had to jump in the water from their cars and try to swim, So it's hard because Lahaina is so historic and you can't rebuild, all those things. It's history, right? So it's just, I already miss all of our little ice cream place that we go and I think of all the things we do together as a family, and it's really tough. And I haven't even been able to go back there. They are not letting us go back yet.
It's probably a good thing for many reasons, including even mental health. You have a lot to process right now. And Stephanie, we're just grateful that you called in. And thank you so much for updating us on you, the boys, and your mom. Please stay close with us, will you? We'd love to update on where you are and just the progress of your situation.
Thank you. I appreciate all the help we can get. Thank you so much.
Hi, everyone.
Welcome back. An update now on the death toll from that Hawaii fire disaster as it has risen to 67 people. A group of
So this is odd. This is, well, I don't know, odd. Hi, Miracle Hearts. Yeah, I remember that. I remember the people jumping from the World Trade Center. Yeah, when you get fire on you, it's yeah. I probably would have jumped too, to be honest with you. This is coming out of Australia. This is Australian news about the fire, and this is about the U.S. military veterans beginning to rescue trapped victims.
US military veterans have flown in to help begin rescuing trapped civilians. For
Hi,
more, we're
Dave.
joined by the CEO
Hi,
of Project
Miracle Hearts.
Dynamo, Brian Stern, who is in Maui. Good morning to you, Brian. Firstly, you're there on the ground. What is the latest that you're hearing?
It's these situations, which we have a lot of experience with, are very, very dynamic. They change every hour. Some of the roads are opening up. Some of the infrastructure is coming back to life. But
those are people. That's people out there.
It is really terrible. They're running out of food. They're running out of supplies. There's lots of.
Look at these cars. I mean, they are literally just gone. Just like carcasses of cars. This is insane.
Lots of people that are homeless. I fully expect the body count to get to triple digits, maybe even mid to high triple digits, depending on who you talk to. So it is, it's a very sad situation and very changing, dynamic situation, but it is improving every minute, though.
Goodness me, we're so familiar with the impact of bushfires here in Australia, but the scale of this really just is incredible. What has your organisation been able to achieve since you arrived there?
Look at this. The whole place is gone. Oh, that sucks. Some of these homes, though, some of these homes, especially on this side, seem to be less affected. But look at this. I mean, this almost looks like a hurricane disaster, but it's fire.
It's been tough goings because of the as I mentioned, all the issues. The communication on the ground is very, very, very poor. We've done a number of air evacuations and we've done a number of supply drops, and we continue to do that. I fully expect that that the rescue part of this operation will start to subside here real soon.
God, I wish I could go down there and help. Ugh, this is horrible.
A lot of people have gotten out that need to go, and this will pivot into more of a humanitarian aid kind of a.
Completely buckling. Look at this building; it's completely buckled. Holy crap! That's a fire right there. When you see this stuff,
kind of an operation doing drops and supply drops, not just for the people that are able to stay or that want to stay, but also for the first responders that are in a bad spot. They're out there in the field doing God's work too. So. It's a changing situation, which is the nature of all these disasters. They're all like this.
Is there enough help at hand, or do you need more assistance?
I would say that there's never enough help. With these things, you can never have. If you have 100 batteries, you can always use 101 batteries. That's just how it goes. From a purely Project Dynamo perspective, we're
look at that. I mean, that's
donor funded. We're running
That's infernal-like. That's.
Helicopters and doing all the doing air ops and about to start doing ground operations. We need financial help. The helicopters do not fly themselves. So projectdynamo.org is where people.
This, like I said, this looks like if you were back in old Rome times, this is something similar to happen in Pompeii and stuff, where complete villages were wiped out completely.
You can go to donate. We are tax deductible. But even in the context of helicopters, all the helicopter companies have banded together and are all working together, trying to get people off and get supplies in. And these terrible situations also show the best of humanity. So when there is catastrophe, there is some goodness that does come out of it, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. We always look for the heroes.
It does. It looks, it looks like you know, what was that movie, War of the Worlds? That's exactly what it looks like. All right, so let's get out of there. I wanted to go switch gears a little bit. I'm going to go to this clown here. Okay, so this is the press conference today for the lawyer of the wife of this guy here, Rex Heuermann. And they finally came out and cleared some air on some of the issues that have been going on with her. So here we go. I don't know why they had such a big lead into this.
We're going to listen in.
So this is the Lisk case going on in New York. This guy, Rex Heuermann, is been accused of unaliving at least 3 girls back in 2010, I think. And finally, the lawyer for the wife is speaking out, and that was this today.
Oh, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for coming out. I'm Bob Macedonio. I'm the attorney representing Asa Ellerup. As you all aware, she's the wife of the Gilgo Beach serial killer suspect.
Thank you for coming in, Miracle Hearts.
On her behalf, she wanted me to express her thanks for the enormous outpouring of support that she's received in the past several weeks. We've gotten gift cards, care packages, food's been delivered to her house. There's also been a GoFundMe page that's been set up on our behalf, which I'd like to clarify some of the issues with that. The GoFundMe page that's been set up is 100% for the benefit of Asa and her children.
Let me know if the audio is okay, I guess.
This
Please.
law firm or any associations of us, we take no funds from that. She will receive 100% of the funds from that. The GoFundMe page was set up by Melissa Moore, who is the daughter of the serial killer, the Happy Face killer, who in the late 90s was convicted of killing at least 5 sex workers in the Midwest. She was 16 years old when her father was arrested.
See, I didn't know that. I thought that came from What's-Her-Face from the BTK killer family. So that was news to me today that it came from her, from the Happy Face killer.
She reached out immediately to myself. We put her in contact with Asa, and they have started the GoFundMe page. Like I said, 100% of the proceeds from that GoFundMe goes to Asa. At this time, Asa has authorized me to relay to everybody that for the past several years, she's been suffering from cancer. She has breast cancer. She also has skin cancer. She's presently under a course of treatment that's going to continue for the next 12 to 18 months. Now, why?
This guy, if he's the guy that did this, he's ruined so many lives, not just his own, but his family, his entire family, not to mention the family of these victims and stuff. This is just, one person can do all of this. It's amazing.
I bring that up is because her health insurance is due to expire in the next 60 days. The source of her health insurance was from her husband's employer. He was the employee. So when the funds run out in his business accounts, the health insurance will no longer be available for her to treat the cancer. It's going to be going the treatment she needs for the next 18 months. That's the big part of it. We did tour the house on Sunday. I was there with my staff.
Basically, what you do when you listen to a lawyer is you filter it. So I usually, 70% of what they say is actual, and 30% is probably total bullshit.
And saw the damage that was done and the mess that was left behind when the police did leave. The drain pipes were...
Yeah, I agree, Miracle Heart. See, cancer on top of all of this shit. Just, what do you do? That home is unlivable.
Taken out of the bathroom, that little elbow piece, the traps were taken out of the bathroom sinks as well.
I'm glad they took those traps, though, because if they're going to find any DNA, they're probably going to find it in there if he did do this and if he did unalive them there, or even if he had anything on him.
As the bathroom tub, so you could not run any of the water. We had a cleanup crew come in with 20-yard dumpsters with 5 men and start removing.
Look at that look at that house. Now I don't know how much of that was.
I was there with my staff and saw the damage that was done and the mess that was left behind when the police did leave. The drain pipes were taken out of the bathroom. That little elbow piece, the traps were taken out of the bathroom sinks as well as the bathroom tubs, so you could not run.
I mean, look at this.
Any of the water. We had a clear.
I don't know how much of this was done by them, or because I heard that this house was pretty kind of messy. I don't know.
Cleanup crew come in with 20-yard dumpsters with 5 men and start removing debris that was left behind. As we speak, photos are being released to all of you through the internet, which you'll have digital photos of the damage that was there. I've also had the opportunity to.
Could you imagine coming home to that house? Like, oh my God.
View the so-called vault or the soundproof room in the basement. It is not a soundproof room. It is not a vault. It is a safe door about 6 foot high that is attached to 2x4s with an open ceiling in the basement like anybody's basement would be, unfinished inside. That's where the guns were allegedly stored. I also had the opportunity to view this doll that we made mention of by the prosecution or the police department. It's a collectible doll. And again, at some point in time, you have a photo of that Asa has collected for many, many years. It was in a wooden glass case that was there.
So that was apparently her doll. You know, that's.
Again, Asa would like me to express her thanks for the support she's received. She's going through a very difficult time. Emotionally, she's recovering each day, not only dealing with the cancer, but this newfound life that she has to come to terms.
Just think of what the victims' families are going through, too, though. I mean, I understand she's going through quite a bit, but, you know, the victims' families lost a family member, too, you know. So.
To protect herself and her children. The attorney for the children is here, Mr. Vespatev. I'd like him.
I mean, the families of the victims, their problems have just started because this is probably going to go on at least another year or two for trial, and then you get the trial that they're going to have to sit through. It's, you know, I wouldn't wish that upon anybody.
Say a few words.
Thank you. Well, thank you all very much for coming. As you know, my firm represents the 2 children, Victoria and Chris.
Right? Like, you know, they've been living with this for, what, 13 years now? 14 years? And to be honest with you, it's, like I said, it's just beginning for them. They're going to have to sit through a trial of, you know, defense attorneys and,
Christopher. They'd also like to say thank you to the public that's come out, to the donations, the people that have sent care packages, the people that have sent money, the people that have stopped by and given them well wishes. And we've spoken, I think, in the press for the last few days about why.
So they have 2 separate attorneys. They have an attorney for her, and then this guy here is an attorney for the children, which aren't really children. They're, you know, I think in their 20s. So maybe that's why.
Important that this family has competent and capable legal representation, and Mr. Macedonio and his firm and my firm, obviously, we're going to keep doing that because they have, as we've said before, rights and liberties that need to be protected. Okay, they all have that. Asa has that. The children have that. As this investigation continues, obviously, the district attorney's office is releasing new information every day. It's going to be a very long process. So what they're asking you all to keep in mind that it's going to be a marathon. It's not a sprint. This is going to continue. This case is going to be a very long time in the making. And through that process, obviously, we've talked about in the past few days that the law requires them, in order to preserve those legal rights and remedies, to file certain.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, you know, the families of the victims are, you know, happy kind of that somebody's been caught or a suspect's in custody, but, you know, you got to get through the trial. You got to get through, you know, and,
legal documents at certain intervals. If they don't do that, they will have waived those rights in the public forum. So we are, at this point, announcing that the children and Ms. Ellerup, on her behalf, are going to be protecting those legal rights and remedies by filing what's called a notice of claim. That notice of claim is going to be filed within the next 30 days, and that obviously is a legal prerequisite to filing a lawsuit, and it has to be done because otherwise those rights are waived. And that's what's going to happen. When it happens, obviously, we'll let you all know. We'll let you folks know what the content of it is, but that's the announcement that we have to make.
See, I think they're getting out ahead of this so that people don't say, oh, she's in it for the money or they're in it for the money. So they're trying to get out ahead of this because they probably are going to bring some sort of a suit against law enforcement. But they don't want people to say, oh, see, it's all about money.
In closing, I'd like to echo my colleagues' statements. At this time, the family again requests truly and honestly that their rights and liberties have to be protected. And a part of that, again, is that the focus is on their basic needs, their food, their water, their shelter, their clothing, okay? And that's their paramount concern right now. It is those basic human needs that all of us have that have been ripped.
It's my opinion that this guy, Rex Heuermann, was a very controlling person, and he treated this family accordingly, like gave them money and stuff for the bills only when he felt like giving it to them.
So we ask you again, please respect their privacy. Please know that they're going through a horrific emotional time that none of us could imagine, and let the legal process run its course. Thank you. It's Vess, V-E-S-S, last name is Mitev, M-I-T-E-V. Again, that will be set forth in the notice of claim, but clearly it's going to be preserving the rights against law enforcement.
Most of these guys that do this stuff, they're very controlling people. They it's all about them, not about anybody else. The families that they have are just basically the cover up, for what their sick mind wants to do.
Enforcement investigations and officials and investigators that were present at the scene. That's standard. Again, I wouldn't ask that you read into it too much, but that notice of claim is going to be filed. It's a legal prerequisite to filing a lawsuit, which they have to file in order to preserve their rights.
Was the Nassau County Police Department involved in wrecking the house?
At this point in time, we're not sure what law enforcement were involved in actually entering the premises and which were involved with securing.
Some of the questions that get asked at these things are just straight out of Dumbville, honestly. Yeah, like Gacy, for sure. I mean, this guy obviously had some money, and they were living in probably the worst looking house in the neighborhood.
The streets and that. So we'll file the notice of claim. It'll probably list all the agencies. And then once the investigation's done, we'll narrow it down and see if there's any kind of lawsuit that can be proceeded after that. It was piled floor to ceiling with debris that was just taken out of the attics of every closet, every inch of the house. There was a path probably a foot or two wide to get from the front door to the kitchen, and that was the way through the house. The children and Asa were sleeping on really foam mats on the floor next to the dog bed where the dog was sleeping also.
Whoops. Sorry.
The claim is going to be filed within the next that were present at the.
We're going to euthanize them if they were not picked up by a certain time. We had those cats removed, voluntarily transported out to the Bidewee, West Hampton, and they're going to be.
My computer sometimes jumps into a different YouTube video, so I apologize for that.
Maintained there until they're adopted out by loving families.
Rex Heuermann pleaded not guilty. Does his family believe?
The only thing his family knows about these charges was been reported in the media. They have not discussed it with him. They haven't addressed it with him, and that's our instructions in them now. We haven't had that conversation. Frankly, it doesn't matter. I need to get Asa back to being mentally healthy, to protect herself and her own children. She has to prepare this for at least the next couple of years. Before this case is litigated in the courts.
Has he visited him in the jail?
She has not visited him in the jail. No, they have not. We have not been contacted.
Did they consult with you about it?
That was prior to our representation. If it happened and we have not been consulted or contacted by law enforcement, let me reiterate. ASA or the children are not suspects in this. I think the DA's office and the law enforcement has made that clear. They've stated on several occasions they were out of the jurisdiction when these alleged crimes took place. So she is not a suspect. She's not been questioned. She's not been accused of anything, of being an accomplice or any part associated with whatever her husband's accused of.
Mr. Macedonia, in light of the fact that Suffolk County has proven to frame people, do you think there's any possibility that Rex Herman has been framed?
So I'm not even going to address that. I'm not the law enforcement. I trust they're going to do their job diligently and professionally. So
But you just admitted they're lying.
Mr. Macedonia, how do you explain your client not having any knowledge of what was going on?
Okay, you're assuming that all the allegations are true. So if some of your questions are true, he lived a complete double life. One of the photos that was released to you that you'll have momentarily will show the house at Christmas time with a Christmas tree and stockings hung by the fireplace at the alleged same time he's alleged to have gone out and committed these serial murders and buried the girls up in Gilgo. So if it happened, it was a complete double life. I assure you she knew nothing about it. They have been released already. You should have them. Your agency should all have them. They were sent out.
You were talking about the drain pipes that have been taken out that they're sleeping on the floor.
Yes.
Is there running water in the home?
The water is running, but the drain pipes, if you run the water, the sink just drops down and goes right down to the basement. There's no, but the plumbing has been repaired, or at least the sink's been repaired. And working on the tub as we speak.
How often are you speaking with investigators? Have they been asking?
I have not spoken to investigators at all.
Not at all?
Not at all.
Are there any appointments made?
No.
To meet with them?
No.
For evidence collection or anything else at any point?
No.
If there was, would they be reaching out?
They have not reached out to us, so I can't assume what they would be doing. I'm sure they're running a professional investigation. I understand the grand jury is still impaneled, so that's their function, and we have not been reached out by them at all.
Have you talked to about the fact that DNA was at the crime scene? Did you have a hearing?
Well, I think what's been said. They say a hair of her likeness was at the crime scene. I don't think they said DNA of hers was at the crime scene. So we
potentially they say her hair
of her likeness of hair. So I don't think the DNA has been proven to be hers at the crime scene.
of her likeness. Okay.
Yeah.
Did you talk to her husband on the phone?
Sure.
We talked about how Asa is doing and can you talk a little bit about how Victoria and Kristen are handling?
Sure. Before that, I just want to piggyback off something Mr. Macedonio just said, and this goes back maybe 2 days, but this DNA order that was cut, okay, that's a very standard order in any kind of criminal prosecution. This was a order that was going to be granted no matter what, okay? Anytime you have a case involving DNA evidence, a buccal swab is quite standard. That state of, the laws of the state of New York are that you can be required, subject to your constitutional limitations, to provide what's called non-testimonial evidence, hair, materials, DNA. So that order was completely pro forma. I understand it was reported in the media as this groundbreaking, earth-shaking moment in the case, but it's not. It gets cut in every case, and if it wasn't ordered, it would have been immediately created an appealable issue. So back to your question, obviously, they're as we've said before, every moment that they spend in this waking, surreal nightmare, they have to keep reevaluating where they are, okay? Their valuables were shattered, their beds were destroyed, the places that they laid their heads down at night no longer exist. The reason that they spend so much time outside and why you folks photographed them on the porch is because they can't be inside. The house is in shambles. It's ransacked. It was run over through roughshod, okay? So it's not as if they don't want to be inside their house, but The conditions inside are deplorable, and they were left in a deplorable condition. So how are they doing? Again, we go back to what we need as humans. We need food, water, clothing, shelter, a roof over our heads, a place to lay our heads down at night. All of those things they were deprived of summarily, without any warning, and every day that goes by, again, kindness of strangers, and we appreciate that. They help get back a little bit of normalcy, but it's not going to be enough. Every dollar counts. Obviously, they have a long way to go. It's not going to be enough today. It's not going to be enough tomorrow. It's not going to be enough for months, maybe years. So in order to piece back what's been crumbled into a million pieces is going to take a very long time. And they need all that. And that's what humans need.
A murder case with multiple victims. Is now the appropriate time to talk about the condition of Heuermann's house?
It's absolutely the appropriate time to talk about the condition of Heuermann's house and children. Again, they're innocent bystanders in this. And that's, again, we cannot stress that enough because of what has happened here, and it's of unimaginable magnitude. They're caught up in this. They're victims just as much. Disagree, or you might consider that there were horrific things that are alleged to have been happened, but an allegation and a conviction are quantum leaps apart. So yes, they are victims, and yes, they are innocent bystanders, and yes, their lives have been completely upended and turned upside down.
Can you speak about the relationship between the children and Rex? Were they close? They happen to take any family vacations, and if so, where did they go?
Again, I appreciate the question, and we thank you for it. We're not here to talk about that today. We're here to give you an update, disseminate some new photos, which I think will give you a better idea. A picture's worth 1,000 words, obviously, as to what the house was, what their life was like. It's contained in those pictures as well, but we're not going to talk about that. And obviously to announce that we are going to be exercising their legal rights and remedies by filing the notices of claim. Thank you.
Sorry, you cannot call jail. The jails have to be outgoing only from the jail. So there's no.
Spoken over the phone?
They're spoken over the phone. Yeah, like I've stated, all those jail calls are recorded. So we've instructed her, and I'm sure his attorneys instructed him not to discuss the facts of the case. It just doesn't. Benefit either party.
So he's called her.
That's the only way the call can happen.
Okay.
Has Dr. Eller explained to you a reason for filing for divorce?
Of course, I discussed that with her, and at some point in time, she'll make her statements on why she feels it was appropriate to do that.
Did she give you any attorney John Ray represents the victims? He's saying that someone should be treated as a suspect.
Okay, Johnny Ray is trying to keep himself relevant in this case. He has a victim, and he's been on TV for the last. Discuss that with her, and at some point in time, she'll make a statements on why she feels it was appropriate to do that. Okay, Johnny Ray is trying to keep himself relevant in this case. He has a victim, and he's been on TV for the last 10 years. Trying to get any kind of press he can on this and make himself relevant in this case. I can assure you, Asa Ellerup and her 2 children are not suspects in this case. They shouldn't be suspects in this case. I wholeheartedly trust the DA's investigation that eliminated them. So I don't know what Johnny Ray's purpose is in doing that, but like I said, trying to keep himself relevant in this matter.
I know you said that they're not suspects in this case, but what can you say about how they're assisting in the
They're not assisting at all. We've never been contacted.
Is there any desire to do that? So you're not suspect, but they want to go above and beyond.
Again, if this happened, it was a complete double life. They have no information to provide. But again, they're not suspects. They haven't been questioned. I do not believe they have any relevant information, or they would have been questioned already and called into the grand jury.
And they have nothing to offer investigation.
Complete double life.
I want to ask about the notice of claim. Her husband has told his lawyer he didn't do this.
We haven't gotten to that discussion on it. We don't know what he told his lawyer. Like again, she hasn't had that conversation with him, and we instructed her not to.
You want to go back to the notice of claim for a second?
Yeah, she has not even asked him. We told her to ignore all that, ignore the media reports, things that are reported in the media. A soundproof room. Everybody reported that. That is not true. So everybody ran with that story that he had this sex dungeon downstairs in his house with a soundproof room where he was bringing prostitutes and murder. Them and then burying them on Gilgo Beach. There is no soundproof room in that house. So we cannot believe everything that's been reported.
That's too funny.
In the media, we've told her that and instructed her that
So you mean the media is being lied to by the DA's office?
get herself mentally healthy, and then so she could be there for her children who are suffering.
That guy just keeps throwing in the whole conspiracy thing. Oh, the media is being lied to. Yeah, sure.
Through this.
The notice of claim, what are the grounds for that? Can you tell us what you're going to be?
So this is important here. So on April 20th, 1996, the first human remains connected to the Gilgo Beach murders were found. Human remains. So I believe that's when they found the legs or something. December 11th, 2010, first remains of the Gilgo 4 are found. So this is, I think, separate from the Gilgo 4. That was, 14 years later? February 15th, 2022, SCPD, Suffolk County Police Department Commissioner Rodney Harrison announces new task force. That was last year to investigate the murders, and then a few weeks ago, Rex Heuermann was arrested in Manhattan. So this is kind of like the timeline of all of these events, but I think this here, I know they found remains, and then they found a head closer to Gilgo Beach. Not sure about that.
Alleging in there?
There are certain rights they have to protect within a 90-day period for notice of claim, the property damage that was done. If you don't file that notice of claim within 90 days, you lose the right to pursue it at a later date. So we're just going to protect those.
Based on the property tax.
It's just going to protect those rights, and that's it.
Based on the
Whether or not a lawsuit will be pursued will be addressed later on. But you have to file a notice of claim within the 90-day period, or you waive it. Okay. No, I do not. I do not. Okay.
In your opinion, has the civil rights of this family been violated?
If my opinion, I didn't think they would. We would not be filing a notice of claim. Okay.
That's his way of saying, thank you for the stupid question. Okay. So what I want to do is, I did some research here, and I want to, because I've been, doing some of my own research here because it's just what I do. So I want to go back to 2012. Hold on a second. October 29th. Okay, so give me a second here. I want to pull this up. I don't think I went here for this. No, I didn't go there for that. Okay, so hold on. Okay, so where was it? It was page. Okay, so this is this is Hurricane Sandy's path. This was back in 2012. So it took off basically beelined it after it got out of the islands here and just made a beeline basically for the East Coast here, New England, Pennsylvania, Jersey, and it really packed a wall up here. Don't forget, this is late October, so this was a really late storm. And Hurricane Sandy was the highest ever storm surge in New York history. So what I'm trying to get at is that's Rhode Island, Maryland, Florida. Okay. So the Battery, or Montauk, New York, I don't know if anybody can see this. So Montauk, New York, which is Long Island pretty much. Oh. Trying to get the surge level here. .40 feet. So that was the maximum recorded storm surge residual levels ranked for Hurricane Sandy. So this is for the astronomical tide level. So they had two tides, the one at night and then the one in the morning. But this one here, where was I? Montauk, New York, was Kings Point, New York was 12.65 feet on the 29th, and Montauk was 5.83 feet. So that's almost a 6-point storm surge in feet. So, so if there were, all I'm saying is, let me get out of here. If there were more bodies there, or even if these are all just ifs, but this was Hurricane Sandy here, and this was, I don't know, midway up the coast by that time. This is some of the beaches here. So it's a pretty devastating storm. I mean, so if there were more bodies there, this storm here might have had a impact on either taking the bodies out to sea or bringing some bodies back. So I'm going to send this information to them, because this is a breach here. I mean, this is all flooding from this storm here. So I just wanted to show people that. Then they had Irene too, which was a year before that, I think. I mean, this is these are pretty high. This is pretty high surge here. So, and if we go to, I mean, 12.65 feet. That's amazing. That's a lot of water. New Haven, Connecticut, 9 feet. The Battery, New York, 9 feet. West Reach, Virgin Point, 9 feet, almost 10 feet. That's a lot of water. You get that. You don't even get that sometimes with nor'easters around here. So if you go to, where are they? I got too many windows open. So if you go to Gilgo Beach on the map, you know, there's not a lot of breaker here. So it's easy to see how some of these waves could have completely inundated this beach here. So, all right. So let's go to this here, and then I'll get out of here. because this happened this week too. So I just want to bring that information out about Sandy, how it might have impacted this crime scene here. But it might not have, who knows? But that's a lot of water. And if there are any more bodies there, or anybody else that might be missing that were dumped there, there's a good chance that they might not be there anymore. Okay, so this happened when did this happen? So this happened, a 17-year-old from Brooklyn has pleaded not guilty to the murder of O'Shea Sibley. The suspect was accused of stabbing and killing Sibley at a gas station for dancing to Beyonce. So he's been arrested, I think, and charged.
18-year-old from Brooklyn today pleading not guilty to the murder of...
Whoops. All right.
28-year-old dancer and choreographer O'Shea Sibley. Surveillance video showing the heated argument that turned deadly. This teenager in the red shorts, the suspect, Dmitry Popov.
He's sorrowful. He's sad. He's afraid, as he should be at 17 years old.
The high school student's charges include second-degree murder as a hate crime after allegedly stabbing and killing Sibley because he is black and gay. The DA says the suspect hurled racist and homophobic slurs at Sibley and his friends as one of them danced.
O'Shea and his
Well, now he's going to be going to jail for the rest of his life if he's guilty. I mean, that's just what happens when you're dumb.
friends were allegedly targeted because they were dancing. They were being themselves, dancing joyfully to Beyonce music at a Brooklyn gas station.
Popov's attorney telling our affiliate WNBC that self-defense
I mean, why would you do that?
will likely be their strategy, but not acknowledging whether his client was carrying a knife on that night, and adding the 17-year-old suspect is not
these guys laughing.
Not racist.
He has many black friends, and he even has a black sister-in-law.
New York City's mayor, Eric Adams, speaking out on the killing.
Parents lost a child to something clearly that was a hate crime.
Sibley's family left to mourn their unimaginable loss. His friends remembering O'Shea as a light.
He encouraged us to stand out and be us. He danced with us. There was a beauty within it all. The power of brotherhood.
And at the gas station where Sibley lost his life, his community letting their voices be heard. In their grief, the sounds of resilience. As court wrapped up today, the judge told Popov to stay out of trouble at the juvenile detention facility.
Thank you, Pitbulls. Thanks for coming in. Thanks for dropping a like. Almost out of here.
He's currently in protective custody for his own safety, and he's due back in court on October 10th.
I'll be
Thanks for watching.
I'll be coming back on later to well, let's just play this here. Hawaiian Residence. What is this? Okay.
KPOA, Lahaina, Maui. Maui's radio station's usually a place for music, but now they are a lifeline for thousands of Hawaiians desperate for information.
I'll be probably coming back on a little later to go back over. I'm going to do floor 2 later. I'm up all night because I work nights, so.
And assistance.
I'll play this and then get out of here.
After those catastrophic wildfires.
Please, people are desperate. Babies need diapers and formula.
Oh my God, that drives me absolutely nuts. I gotta send some shit over there. Ugh.
The elderly need their medication.
The fires.
Listen to those winds. I mean, how do you escape that fire? You just can't.
Burning cell towers to the ground and cutting off communication. So DJs on the island are now broadcasting 24/7.
From Oluwalu again, mahalo Lori, letting us know that you are there and there are families there waiting for some kind of support.
Let's hope Don Ho's okay. Is he even alive anymore? Don Ho? Is Don Ho alive? Nope, he's dead.
Supply or any kind of food and supplies, and we are working on that for you.
And notifying residents where to find aid at the top of the hour.
All right, food distribution. Again, we have some going out to Napili Park.
Listeners also calling in to try and find their loved ones.
We hear them crying, their tears, their desperate pleas. It's
I think
real.
Miracle Hearts
It's
fell
very real
asleep.
for me.
The DJs even sharing their own grief.
I gotta send aloha to my niece, who lost her husband. He brought a smile to my niece's face, big time, and I can see the hurt in her eyes.
County officials now using the airwaves to give updates.
Look at that. I mean, that's a fire. That is not good.
On the status of the fire and rescue effort.
Look at this. There's fire out here too. This is water. Holy cow. Looks like an image from Game of Thrones.
Today's updates. The Lahaina brush fire is 80% contained.
The radio stations are also using their social media pages to share donation drop-off sites, lists of missing persons, and links to
Yeah, I got to send some shit out there.
Donate to relief efforts.
Now we really got to band together.
Local radio providing a signal of hope that the Ohana spirit is still alive.
I go home and my sister looks at me like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "I shouldn't be here. There's more that I can do."
And tonight we salute all those DJs who are working around the clock to provide information to the people who need it most here in Maui. And for you at home, there are ways to help those affected here in Hawaii. Hawaii's governor's office has dedicated donations, directed donations.
Okay, so I need to copy this. I got the video, so I can do this later. So if you want to help Maui, Hawaii Community Foundation, hawaiicommunityfoundation.org, of course, the United Way, Maui Food Bank, Disaster Relief, all of these organizations need your help. So I'll be sending something in for sure.
I should say to the Hawaii Community Foundation. United Way has created a Maui Disaster Relief Fund, and the Maui Food Bank is providing meals for thousands of displaced residents. The websites for those three right there on your screen. You can also make a $10 donation.
So
thanks for watching our YouTube.
That's that. And if you can help, great. If you can't, that's fine. But I'm going to get out of here. Thank you, everybody, for coming in. Miracle Hearts, 4 Pit Bulls, thank you very much. And whoever else was here. But I'm going to get out of here because I got to do some cleaning and get ready for my live later. So I'll play my outro and I will get out of here. Tell you one thing, it's absolutely freezing up here. I don't think this summer's been the coldest summer ever here. Oh, I forgot to play this. All right, so let's play the outro and leave. Okay, good night, everybody. Everybody have a safe weekend and stay in touch.